It's the weekend, and here are some short reviews for metal albums released on March 17th, 2023. Let's start with Kamelot with The Awakening. So this is an American power metal band. They sound like some of them more like European power metal bands, but they're from Tampa. The new album was just released March 17th, 2023 through Napalm Records. So this band is pretty straightforward. It's melodic power metal with a lot of symphonic elements. So we have lots of great songs here. The Great Divide, just straightforward, typical power metal. You got that fast drum beat, the symphonic elements. Another song, One More Flag in the Ground. This one's a little more epic. You got Middle Eastern sounds. You got a very big chorus. Midsummer's Eve. This one is a little more stripped back. It's more of a folk song. You got more of that piano, more of that orchestration. So we're going to get like a lot of variety in this album. And you also have a female vocalist named Tina Guo. She makes a guest and does some vocals on here. Then we got Blood Moon, just typical power metal. You got the heavy beat, has a big sound. It has some heavier guitar riffs. And the vocals are a little darker, so they get a little heavier in this one. Night Sky, it's another good one. You got lots of guitars and keyboards and a very good sound. So overall, it's a decent album. Maybe not their best album, but it's what you would expect from this band. It's melodic power metal with symphonic elements. You know, they do it very well. I think they've had better albums, but I'm going to give it a decent score. So my score is a 7 out of 10. Maybe it will grow on me a little more over some time, but that's my score for now, 7 out of 10. Next is a band called Theory of a Deadman. They're from Canada. They're from North Delta, British Columbia. So when they first came out, they sounded a lot like Nickelback and Creed, like that type of post-grunge sound. I think they were even produced by Chad Kroeger, if I'm not mistaken. But over the years, they've had some different styles in the mix. They've been more like country and acoustic and alternative rock. They were successful at one point. They've had some hit singles, Bad Girlfriend, Lowlife, RX, Medicate, and History of Violence. This new album is called Dinosaur. So this one, it's not great. At least I didn't think it was. So we got Dinosaur, the title track. That's just straightforward 2000s grunge. More those like distorted, like megaphone type of vocals. Then we have Medusa. This is more of modern pop sound. I like the main riff on this song, but it was okay. Sick is a modern country song. So they do like a little more country on this album. There's a cover of Just the Two of Us, where they kind of turn it into this radio rock song or like a quasi-rap song. And then Ambulance is kind of weird because they're bringing back that late 90s Kid Rock or Limp Bizkit sound. It's going for that rap rock. I don't really think that comes off very well, but that's just how I thought. Sideways, this is just a pure pop ballad. It sounds something like Sam Smith or something like that. I'm not really too familiar with new pop artists, but it's just modern pop. Then Get in Line is more like grunge. I think they're going for like a Nirvana sound, but they mix it with that rap rock. So it's kind of a strange choice in doing this. Head in the Clowns, another one, it's just country rock. And overall, I didn't think it was very good. I think it's more of a pop album. I included this because, you know, they used to play grunge. You know, they're almost like, they're not metal, but they were a post-grunge band. But I even think like the last Nickelback album was even like a little better than this. I didn't like it that much. So my score is a 6 out of 10. Next is a band called The Answer, and the album is called SUNDOWNERS. Again released March 17th through Golden Robot Records. They're a band from Northern Ireland, mostly Newcastle and Downpatrick. They had a really big selling debut. I actually have that one on CD. I was like at the record store and I kind of like saw it. It had a good price. I never heard of the band, so I just kind of grabbed it. Let's just see what you're going to get with this. And I actually liked it. It's kind of a bluesy, hard rock type of sound. So let's talk about this album now. So the title track is called Sundowners. It's just blues rock. You got the slide guitar, you got harmonica. It has a cool drum beat. It has some distorted bass. So this band is mostly hard rock. They use a little bit of distortion. I'm thinking of late 80s bands like Badlands, like that type of like blues rock going into almost hard rock or even almost metal. So there are some other good songs here. We got Blood Brother. This has a nice like stomp your foot kind of sound, really good vocals. I'm thinking the vocals are reminding me a little bit of like Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. They add some organ in the background and has a cool beat. California Rust, I like this one because it kind of like brings back that like Led Zeppelin vibe with some nice hard rock guitar riffs, but in like this bluesy atmosphere. Oh Cherry, I like that one a lot. It's this cool song, has some classic rock vibes. Even reminded me a little bit of like The Doors and like little hints of surf rock, so that was pretty cool. No Salvation is a slower blues rock song, something like the Black Crowes or the Rolling Stones. All Together has a cool, dirty, distorted guitar sound, some harder vocals, and another song with that nice like foot stomping sound. So overall, I think this one's very good. This is an underrated band. They probably deserve some more attention. It's blues rock, a lot of classic rock influence. So my score for this is an 8 out of 10. The next band I'm going to talk about is called Night Demon, and the album is called Outsider. So this is a band from the United States, from Ventura, California. Fairly new on the scene. They were formed in 2011, and they play a type of music that's like a throwback to that early 80s classic heavy metal. Think of bands like Angel Witch, Witchfinders General, you got the Saxon, early Iron Maiden, like that type of sound. They're also similar to like this new wave of bands trying to like bring back that sound like Skullfist and Haunt. So that's kind of what you're getting with this band. They have 3 albums, so Curse of the Damned, Darkness Remains, and Outsider. That's the new one. So let's talk about the songs. The title track, Outsider, just classic metal. It has a hard driving beat, some cool guitar riffs. Then we have Obsidian. This one reminded me of that like early Iron Maiden with that gallop and some more heavier riffs mixed in. Then Beyond the Grave, it's a darker song. It's doomier, kind of reminds me of early Black Sabbath, but they mix in some like cleaner vocals and guitars. Then Rebirth, another classic metal song, really nice guitar, and there's a really good bass sound on this whole album. Escape from Beyond, this is more of like a more upbeat heavy metal. I'm thinking Dio or 80s Judas Priest. It's just very heavy, more intense drumming and more melodic vocals. Awake, which is Awake. This is a power ballad. I'm thinking like Beyond the Realms of Death by Judas Priest, that type of song. Then we have The Wrath. It's a longer 7.5 minute song. Very epic. Reminded me of like Black Sabbath again. It has those like Tony Iommi style guitar riffs. Really big vocals. This mix of like heavy and light. And then they did a bonus track. It's just pure speed metal called The Last Day. Overall, it's a very good album if you like classic metal bands like the ones I mentioned, or some of those early 80s metal bands, even like Diamond Head, like that type of thing. It's a good album. My score, 8 out of 10. I'm going to review one more album, and it's Chelsea Grin with Suffer in Heaven. This is like a second part. They released Suffer in Hell back in November. I didn't even like review that back then. But I'm going to just do this since it's part of a short review. So Chelsea Grin there, played deathcore, formed in 2007, and they are pretty popular on the deathcore scene. Let's talk about this album. We have Leave With Us, that opens the album, just typical deathcore. This band is focused on making just heavy music. There's not really much melody. It's heavy riffs, breakdowns, high-pitched vocals, and screams, and that's pretty much what you get all throughout the album. So we have Orc March, another song. You got the down-tuned guitar riffs. They use different vocal styles, and the guitar riffs have like harmonics on them. Another one like Fathomless Maw. They have these like sound bites from like a radio program. They do that on a couple of songs using these like little sound clips. But lots of pummeling guitar riffs. Soul Slave, this was more like an industrial metal sound, more distorted vocals. The Mind of God, this is more of like a black metal sound with a tremolo picking in. Just more of those typical heavy down-tuned guitar riffs. So Overall, I don't. It's not the best. It's okay for deathcore. I think the Suicide Silence album from last week was like a little better than this. There's better deathcore out there, but it's okay if you like the genre. So my score is 6.5 out of 10. So that's all. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these albums. If there's any other albums I missed, or if you want to recommend more albums for next week's episode, feel free to do that. And let me know what you thought of these albums. If my review was fair, or maybe you liked some of them better than I did, or disliked some, or anything like that. So thanks for watching. Check out a playlist. These are all 2023 new album reviews, everything I have reviewed since January. And see you in the next one.